So this whole mess starts with a girl named Ava. She's back in her hometown after ages because two of her old high school friends are getting engaged. Super exciting, right? One of them is named Danica. The engagement party is happening and Ava is downstairs chatting with Danica. Meanwhile, Danica's friend is talking to Ava's ex. Awkward. Ava and her ex used to be really into each other, but they had this huge dramatic fight and split up. And now, for the first time in forever, the whole group is together again. After the official engagement stuff is over, the four friends, Ava, Danica, her fiancé, and Ava's ex all sit down to talk. As they're about to get in the car, Ava spots her other friend, Stevie. Ava thinks, "We haven't hung out in so long, let's bring her along." But then, Stevie's friend steps in and says, "Nah, I got this place, go have fun." So Stevie agrees, and the whole crew heads off on their journey. They're all driving toward this cliffside when Danica suddenly screams at her fiancé. It was a total joke, but everyone freaks out. They quickly arrive at the spot and get out of the car. Right away, Danica is acting weird toward her fiancé, kind of manic and out of control. Then, another car suddenly speeds toward them and just stops, blocking the road. It wouldn't move. The friends are yelling, totally annoyed, and then, at the last second, Ava's ex shoves the man out of the way. Everyone glares at him, but then the other car swerves, crashes into the barrier, and gets completely stuck. They're all terrified and rush over to help. The driver is badly injured, but they can't get the door open, and the car keeps inching forward. They're pulling on him, trying everything, but nothing works. Then, in one final, terrifying moment, the driver grabs Danica's fiancé's shirt, but she rips herself free, and the car plunges straight into the water below. Ava and Stevie are immediately yelling, "We have to save him!" But there's no way down. Danica's fiancé runs off to call the police. Then, Danica says something shocking. She says, "It was just an accident. Don't overthink it. Accidents happen on roads like this." But Ava's ex pushes back. He says, "No, we were standing right in the middle of the road. It's our fault. In a way, we killed him." Danica's fiancé comes back a little later and says, "The police are on the way, so they need to leave." Ava and Stevie don't like this one bit, but the fiancé convinces them they'll just drive straight to the police station. Ava's ex chimes in, "We tried. It was impossible to save him. We should just go." So they leave. As they're driving, they see the police cars heading in the opposite direction. Ava is totally surprised and realizes they are not going to the police station at all. They get back to town, and Danica's fiancé gathers them all together. He essentially gives an order. Everyone needs to separate and forget this forever. He assures them the police will handle the crashed car, and there's nothing to worry about. Ava is disgusted and just leaves without a word. 1 year passes. Everything has changed. Ava is back in town again, this time for Danica's bridal shower. Get this, she's not marrying the same guy. She broke up with her old fiancé right after the accident. On the flight, Ava meets a girl who's a podcaster. When she finds out the podcaster is going to the same place, Ava asks her for a ride. Ava's ex had driven to the event, so the two girls pile in his car and head off. Danica is over the moon and greets Ava warmly. Stevie is there too. Everyone is together, and as Danica starts opening gifts, a letter falls out. She opens it, and inside is a card that reads, "I know what you did last summer." Later, she tells the group she thinks it's her ex-fiancé, saying he went mad after the accident, which is why they broke up. Ava's ex adds that the guy who died in the car had no family, and Danica's ex-fiancé's dad, who is the city mayor, covered the whole thing up to protect his son. The group decides to go straight to Danica's ex-fiancé's place. He's completely shocked to see them. When she shows him the letter, he genuinely looks scared and insists he has absolutely nothing to do with it. That night, Danica is home, and she feels like someone is outside her window. As she goes to check, her fiancé sneaks up behind her and grabs her. He thinks she's just nervous about the wedding and tries to calm her down. Danica goes for a relaxing bath in an outdoor tub. Meanwhile, her fiancé is inside, dreaming. Danica lies in the tub, meditating, when suddenly the lights outside turn on. Her fiancé goes out to check, but they immediately turn off again. He's peering into the darkness, but then turns to go back inside. Thwack! He's holding the pillar behind him, but he goes down. Danica has music playing, so she can't hear anything. He crawls a bit, gets up, and then realizes a killer is there, who shoots another arrow. The killer, wearing a mask, approaches him and finishes him off with a huge hook. Danica feels refreshed and goes downstairs, where she hears music playing. She sees a sight that would freeze your blood. A rod is stuck right through her fiancé's neck, and written above it in his blood is, "You can't erase the paste. You can't erase Mazik." The next morning, the friends are trying to figure out what is going on. They start throwing around names of people who knew about last year. Ava's ex brings up Ava's new podcaster friend, who had recently done a podcast about a killer. Diana plays it, and the podcaster is talking about the 1997 murders committed by the same killer, with a hook. Everyone is freaked out, but Ava insists the podcaster can't be the killer because she just met her. The next day, Ava meets the podcaster again and asks her to talk about herself. The podcaster brings her to a terrifyingly old house. She starts acting unhinged, rambling about the 1997 murders. Then, she whispers in Ava's ear that the killer left a note for his victims, the ones he's going to hunt, which said, "I know what you did last summer." She also mentions a professor lady and a man named Ray, the only two known survivors of the killer in that town. She's seriously scaring Ava. She tells Ava to wait and goes upstairs. Ava starts calling for help. She thinks, "It's the podcaster. She's messing with me." But the podcaster is upstairs, which means it's the real killer. He attacks, but Ava is surprisingly agile and dodges him. She manages to stab him with a knife and locks herself in a room, leaving the killer wounded. When she's sure he's gone, she comes out. The podcaster is back too. But then, a huge cage drops right onto Ava, trapping her. She panics and begs the podcaster to get help. The podcaster runs and ends up in a one-man elevator, which she starts manually pulling up. The killer has arrived. Ava is desperately trying to remove the cage. The podcaster reaches a storeroom upstairs full of mannequins. The killer sneaks up and grabs her, trying to strangle her. She fights back and manages to rip off his mask. The podcaster clearly recognizes him. Meanwhile, Stevie gets to Ava and helps her get out of the cage. As they emerge, the podcaster's body falls from above and is left hanging. The police show up and investigate the scene. They tell the survivors there's an important meeting at the town hall the next morning that they all must attend. Ava has a plan. She goes to find the professor, the survivor. The professor is teaching her students, and when Ava approaches her, the woman doesn't want to talk about her past trauma. But Ava pleads with her, explaining the hell she's going through, and the professor finally agrees to listen and brings Ava to her house. Ava asks, "Can you come to the town meeting with me?" The only way to find out who's doing this is to figure out who the killer is. At the town meeting, the police announce that the podcaster has committed suicide. They say she had a history and was mentally unstable. Ava and her ex stand up, totally furious. Ava says the police are wrong. The killer was at that house and chased her. Everyone is shocked, but the police won't believe them without proof. Suddenly, Ray, the second survivor, shows up. He firmly tells the police they need to take the kids seriously. The police say they will, but in such cases, they always turn to the father, who is sitting in front. The father stands up and invites anyone who needs help to his house. Stevie goes to talk to Ray, genuinely surprised he's a survivor. Ray says he doesn't like talking about it. Stevie says she's there with her friends, trying to ask questions. We then learn that Ray used to be the professor's husband. He's angry that his ex-wife is encouraging these kids to look for the killer. Danica's ex tells Danica there's only one solution: run away from this town. But Ray, the experienced one, says that's a terrible idea. Then they see the police report for the car accident. The dead man was drunk and the car was stolen. They realize they need to find out whose name the car was registered under. So they go to the town's car rental service. Ava puts on a brilliant act, saying her brother died in the car accident, and the guy gives them the old information. Danica and her ex go to the cemetery to visit the dead man's grave. They see fresh flowers there. When the cemetery caretaker comes over, they ask who put them there. He doesn't know, but they ask to see the CCTV footage, and he agrees. He goes to check, and just as he's about to find out, the killer sneaks up and slits his throat. It's evening, and the caretaker hasn't come back, so Danica's ex goes to check. Danica waits, and as soon as she turns around, the killer is right there. She screams, runs, and hides in a storage room. She finds a telephone, but as she tries to call, the killer arrives. She hides under the stage, and the killer is walking right over her. He quickly finds her, yanks her out, and is about to kill her when her fiancé shows up and throws the killer aside. The killer runs away, and the fiancé tends to Danica. Meanwhile, back at the professor's house, someone comes to the door. It's Ray. She lets him in. He says he only came because he's upset. She asked Ava to find the killer, knowing it could get them all killed. All the friends are together, and Danica is recovering. Ava's ex feels strange and goes to his car to clear his head. When he comes back, the door is locked. He starts walking toward the window, and suddenly the killer is behind him, strangling him with a rope. He suffocates, his neck bone snaps, and he dies instantly. Ava pulls back a curtain and sees his car driving away. She immediately calls him, but the killer has his phone, which is sitting next to his dead body as the car drives. The next morning, Ava and Danica go to the father. Danica still feels strange, so she goes into the father's chamber under the pretense of using the washroom. The father, meanwhile, is acting really strange with Ava. In the chamber, Danica sees a book with a picture of the father and a dead person. A woman comes to retrieve the book, and Danica hides in a cupboard. The father comes in, thankfully just grabs the book and leaves. That evening, they go to the police station to tell them everything, but the police don't believe them, thinking they're just blaming the father. The police officer gets up and leaves, telling them to wait. Danica falls asleep in the comfortable room and sees a stranger in front of her. She closes her eyes, and when she opens them, the person is gone. She gets up to check, and written on the door is, "YO, you are next." Ava realizes they've been locked inside the police station. She screams for help, but the police ignore them. Now, we learn a big secret. Ray is actually Stevie's boss. He tells her, "I promised your father I would always take care of you, and I'm doing that." Danica is home with her fiancé. He sees the gate opening on its own and goes to check. He sees a statue in the corner, but misses the fact that the real killer is standing behind him. In a flash, the killer attacks with a knife. Her fiancé fights back, punching the killer, but the killer stabs him again. He shoves the killer away and crawls up the stairs, screaming for help. His dad is listening to music so he can't hear. His mom is upstairs and doesn't see him wave. Finally, the killer pulls him away. His dad turns off the music and sees his injured son. He rushes to him, but then the killer comes and puts the hook right through the dad's neck, killing him. Danica wakes up in the police station from a terrifying dream where a beauty queen she admires transforms into a damaged figure who attacks her with a hook. The police finally release them, and everyone goes to the crime scene. Danica's fiancé and his dad have been brutally murdered, and their bodies are hanging there. Danica just screams and cries. Her friends pull her away. Ray advises them to escape town by a boat. They go back to Ava's ex's car, where they find his dead body. Ava starts sobbing uncontrollably. The three girls, Ava, Danica, and Stevie, get on the boat and leave. Meanwhile, the police now suspect the father and go to his house to arrest him. But when they arrive, they're shocked. The father is also dead. The police find a group photo at the father's house, and they realize the dead man from the car accident had a partner, and that partner was none other than Stevie. The secret is out. Stevie is the killer, and she's on the boat with them. Then she drops the act and reveals herself. "Yes, I am the killer." Ova calls her mad, but Stevie says, "I'm a strong, free-thinking girl. You can't call me mad." She explains that after her parents died, everyone abandoned her, and she was completely broken. Then she met the man they killed in the car accident. He was her only support. When she found his dead body, she broke down again. They had snatched her love from her. Danica asks, "Why tell us all this now? I snatched your love from both of you." Ava sees a flare gun and tries to grab it, but Stevie stops her. Just then, the hook falls, and Danica grabs it and runs. Stevie chases her, but Danica manages to stab Stevie and break free. Ray has no choice. He shoots Stevie, and she falls into the water. Later, Ava is with Ray at his bar. He takes off his shirt, and Ava sees it, the exact same wound the killer had when she stabbed him with a knife at the podcaster's house. Ray is the second killer. Ava is horrified and tries to leave, but the door is locked. Ray walks towards her holding the hook, ready to finish her off. Ava runs, but he catches her hair. She fights back, attacking him and trying to escape. She smashes a window and tries to run through it, but he grabs her again. Just then, the professor arrives. She sees Ava being attacked by Ray and pushes her aside to talk to him. Ray says, "This girl, Stevie, couldn't get over the shock of losing her parents, and then she lost her love. I'm proud that I supported her in killing her friends." He's about to kill the professor too, but Ava attacks him from behind with an arrow which pierces him, and Ray dies. We see Danica again. She's on the seashore, still alive. Ava and Danica are recovering in the hospital. While there, they get news that Stevie is still alive. Ava looks determined. She thinks, one killer Ray is dead. Now, the other killer, Stevie, has to die.